made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, SCED, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 289 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Lou Edwards, and if you want to hear the hardcore truth of chiropractic, stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. We're so excited to bring Dr. Lou Edwards coming in from the UK today. She's going to just inspire the heck out of you guys about chiropractic, and she's been seeing the chiro since she was 13. It's a pretty amazing story. I got a little backstory on her before the show launched, but just to set precedence for everybody, Chiro Hustle exists to protect free speech in chiropractic and to support subluxation-based chiropractic and to protect the sacred trust within the beautiful profession. So with that being noted and said, welcome to the show, Dr. Lou.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, as usual, I think one of the most fascinating parts of our show is the first segment, which is asking the story and the why behind why you became a chiropractor. So maybe you could share with our audience today and inspire them as to how you got into the beautiful profession of chiropractic.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for letting me share my story as well. So I'm really fortunate in the fact that I knew that I wanted to be a chiropractor from a very, very early age. I had quite a bad horse riding accident when I was about 13 years old, where I fell directly on my head and had a huge amount of neck pain and headaches from it as well. So my dad's actually a medic, so obviously chiropractic was the last thing that he thought about going to. But he said, you know what, we'll try it. Anyway, saw the chiropractor, they pretty much fixed everything. I started feeling really, really good as well, just generally in myself. So I kind of realized that it wasn't just about pain as well. And I always think back, and actually a 13-year-old having that cognitive thought is pretty, you wouldn't really expect it either. I also have been like a keen horse rider, and I've always had animals, dogs, and I'd seen particularly horses being adjusted, and it was absolutely amazing, the change in horses so instantly, like from horses not being able to canter to within one adjustment, just being able to move properly. And I was like, you know what, there's something bigger in this, and that's what I want to do. So that's really how I decided to be a chiropractor. And then I went on to college and then went to university straight away from college. And I was one of the youngest students within my year. So but yeah, I absolutely loved it. Ticked the boxes, got through it, and now, being a chiropractor for quite a few years now.
Yeah, it's fascinating because when I was 16, I started seeing a chiropractor, and I always knew that I performed better. So it's quite amazing to hear your story, just to know that you just realized at a young age that it made you feel better, and it wasn't always about the pain; it was just about performance. And I think that that's a big take home to a lot of people that watch our show is. We kind of unwind and rewire the messaging of chiropractic to where people can understand it a little bit better. And you are right, the horses. I've done some close work with Jay Comerick over here in Colorado, and you don't have to. The horses can't talk; it's just their performance, So when a horse gets adjusted, you can just tell how much more vigor it has in its life and how much vitality that comes back into it. And it is impressive. So you being young, experiencing horses getting adjusted and everything, I could only understand a little bit more why you decided that chiropractic would be a good profession. And it's fascinating to hear everybody has their journey. And I believe the story is the most valuable part of a person's life. So when you get a chance to tell that story, you never know who's that story is going to have an impact with. Just like BJ Palmer said, you never know how far reaching the power of chiropractic will go. And it could be your story today, right?
Yeah, definitely. And with animals as well, like I have some clients that always say, oh, maybe I'm feeling better or functioning better because it's a placebo effect. And I always use the example of animals because I see animals weekly in the fact that animals don't understand that they don't have a placebo effect really. And it is purely their nervous system is functioning at a much higher level. So yeah, I mean, animals confirmed it for me really with chiropractic that there's something completely amazing about chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
So, since becoming a chiropractor, is there anything unique or different that you're doing to set yourself apart from other practitioners?
Yeah, so we have a practice here in Oxford, and we practice in a really vitalistic way. So we don't practice in like pain-based chiropractic because, in my opinion, pain really isn't the be all and the end all. You see absolute amazing changes in babies through pregnancy, through caring for whole families. So so yeah, we practice in a very vitalistic way because, in my opinion, it's the only way that I would ever want to practice.
Yeah, in doing so, I guess the big question comes into that is how are you finding practice growth, and what are some of your marketing strategies that have helped you like grow your practice?
Yeah, so the practice has grown very, very quickly. And I think it's just because of certainty within the clinic. Like, it's something that I've worked on myself, like reading green books, listening to podcasts, doing training videos, seminars. And I think the biggest thing in marketing yourself, because ultimately you have to market yourself to help people, is just the certainty in everything that you do. It comes with some experience in practice when you start seeing miracles, really. Um, but yeah, we use lots of connections in the local community. So we're connecting with midwives at the moment. We've had a huge influx of pregnant women at the moment, and we want to see more babies within practice, as that's really, I think, one of the most important times to actually get checked is if you can create healthy children, then you don't have sick adults. So we're really working on connections within the centre, having health talks and welcome talks, and just I had a wellness talk yesterday on Zoom. I don't really like doing it on Zoom, but with a college about the nervous system and the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. And they were really, really interested, gave really good feedback on it. But for me, it's all about connection and certainty, I'd say.
So, besides getting adjusted, what are some other ways that you're taking care of your own health as well as your family's health?
Yeah, so for me, it's congruency is really important in practice. So I can't say to my clients or patients to lead a chiropractic lifestyle if I'm not leading it myself. So for me, exercise is really important. It clears my mind. It makes me feel better in myself. It also makes me less likely to injure myself when I'm adjusting clients too. But eating well, taking supplements and vitamins like magnesium, zinc, vitamin D, Tulsi tea, chamomile tea before bed. So I have like a little routine of supplements and also sleep, because that's the time you heal. So for me, my sleep is a priority. I'll try and go to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time. So circadian rhythms are in check a little bit. So I try and, just generally live a chiropractic lifestyle so I can being congruent with everything.
Yeah, it's really cool to hear. One of the things that I just wanted to circle back to is you mentioned that um, you take care of your body so you don't get injured, and I think that that's something to be spoke about a little bit, because I see that when chiropractors are like in full-time practice, it's like being a professional athlete. You show up. I mean, there's so many different techniques that you guys deliver like an adjustment with, and if you're seeing a volume practice, at the end of the day, I'm sure you're pretty wiped out. So it's important to train to adjust, and I think that that's something that chiropractors all around the world need to hear is train the body so it can withstand a lifetime of taking care of people. And I think that you just hit the nail right on the head is, eating right, making sure you're getting plenty of sleep. And I think one of the things that maybe you didn't mention was, the people out there listening, you should consider drinking half your body weight in ounces every day. I don't know what the measurement is over in the UK, but you should drink half your body weight in water. And hydration is one of those things that are key to healing as well. So, the vitamins, the regimen that you said that you're on, I think it's just important for people to know that the adjustment matters, but full body health and wellness is something that can be achieved when they have a relationship with a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And when you live that, it's easy for you to transcend that information to somebody else because, like you said earlier, you're living congruent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we actually bought all these water bottles for everyone in the center because we're trying to, all of the front desk, they take a while to sometimes adapt to the craziness of chiropractors. I think they think chiropractors are absolutely bonkers, but I love it. And we've actually, one of our front desks is trained to be a chiropractor now, which is fantastic. But I bought everybody water bottles. Like, everyone needs to drink more. We need to make sure we have water with us at all times in the shift. But also part of general prevention of issues and making sure my nervous system is functioning and I'm healthy is obviously getting adjusted. So I'll get adjusted once a week, potentially twice a week, but definitely once a week. And we're pretty good in the practice, making sure that we get checked. In fact, it's, we have an evening dedicated to it where we check all of our CAs, we check each other and make sure we are putting ourselves first in our health, because you can't help other people until you have got your own health under wraps, really.
So brilliant.
I'm curious to know, are there any types of specific food groups or categories that you stick to? Like, do you eat keto or do you eat paleo or anything like that?
For me, I'd say I eat more keto diet, but I wouldn't say I have a specific diet, if that makes sense. I just try and avoid lactose, anything lactose, dairy completely, breads. And I try and eat little and often. I don't tend to have big meals, mainly because I just really don't enjoy eating big meals. So, and I find that throughout the adjustment shift as well, we have special breaks, but I can go and have some nuts or, some snacks throughout the day. And I tend to try and eat as healthy as I possibly can. But I don't follow a strict diet.
What are some of your favorite ways of staying connected to your patients or your community?
Yeah, so we're actually pretty good at retention here of our clients. So we have things like we do client of the month. If a client is doing anything like getting married, we'll get them a card. I always like to remember things about my clients. So I literally remember everything that they tell me, because to me that's important. I want to feel connected to them. But also within the center, the girls on the front desk will always remember what's going on with people. Within the community, we always like to stay connected. So we're always looking at ways to reach out to certain people, midwives, GPs. I actually have a GP that's come in, and I've spoken to her about doing some orthopedic testing, even though that's not the be all and the end all, but it's a way to get in, right? So then you can educate. So yeah, we're always looking for ways. Our clinic manager, I'm always probably nagging her about that we need to connect more, but we need to do it. We need to influence the community, because that's, we're the only people that are influeing the community on wellness. Everyone else is sickness. Take this medication, do this surgery, and that's just not the answer to it.
Well, there's a saying that I picked up from the founder of Everest, Dr. Barry, and he said, if we don't close people for chiropractic, then somebody else will close them for drugs or surgery.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have to, lead by example, but also have a strong enough passion and commitment to the truth of chiropractic, of why it can help people. And the community, they're all looking for answers right now for better health, longevity, and strengthening their immune systems and strengthening their nervous systems and making sure that their organs are functioning properly. And that they have long-term vitality. And I think that, as you said earlier, you're more vitalistic as a practitioner. And I think, when people think about vitalism, that's a big word to understand and to unpack it. But most of our conversation today has been about a chiropractic lifestyle and vitalism and things that are going to help connect you to yourself, connect you to your community. And I think that all this stuff is super important for people to have, access to a conversation like this, because the MSM is not giving them the opportunity to hear holistic style practitioners talking about how they take care of their communities and why it's important to take care of babies, and why it's important to take care of you, being the source of that's the provider. I think a lot of times we forget some of these really important conversations that need to be had, and people become indoctrinated with the wrong type of messaging. So it's great to hear from you today and have you share some of how you stay healthy and what you do for your community.
Hey, thank you. I mean, chiropractic, if you look at it, is so simple. It's probably one of the simplest professions. I mean, all you have to do, and I remind myself of this daily, but you just have to tell the truth. Like, you just tell people how you can influence their lives through their nervous system. And that's literally it. You just influencing the nervous system. It's like pain will go away. It's a secondary. But if you just focus on that, and when you're connecting with your client, visualizing the spine, I always find very helpful, because you will have such a better connection and a better speed from your adjustment. And the faster the speed, the more you impact the nervous system. So yeah, always training, always connecting.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, SCED, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
So, how do you see chiropractic changing and developing over the next 20 years or so? And not just in your country, but maybe globally too.
So, I would hope, the feeling that I get is chiropractic is going to be huge in the next 20 to 50 years, because people will start realizing that they can't fix their body by having surgery, taking medication. And we get, clients that come through the door now, and they're like, I've been passed around from pillar to post and haven't got anywhere. I had a client a month ago. She came in like widespread body symptoms, elbow pain, knee pain, headaches, felt like absolute crap half the time. And she has pretty much recovered in terms of her symptoms, and her nervous system is functioning much better. But she said to me, like, why has no one why I've been to the GP so many times, why have they not told me about chiropractic? And, what I said is that you don't know what you don't know. They just haven't been educated in it. And it's actually chiropractors' fault for not educating them in it, in a way. So that's something I will get better at. And I think as a profession, we need to get better at. But I think in the next 20 to 50 years, and people will realize that the answer is not drugs and surgery, and they'll start looking for alternative methods of getting their bodies functioning again, really. Sometimes the colleges in the UK are changing a lot, and I hope that the Scottish College of Chiropractic will. I have a feeling it's going to be amazing. I mean, the things that they've been talking about is so exciting, and there'll be loads of students that come out vitalistic practice, and they're the ones that are going to really be influencing the next generation of chiropractors. So I'm really hopeful for it. I think it's a bit different in the States to the UK. The States are a little bit ahead of the UK in the fact that chiropractic is pretty big out there. Chiropractic is a bit smaller over here, but I can see it's increasing as people start opening their eyes a little bit to the body. I mean, most people that come in here don't even know what the nervous system does, which always does surprise me, but, it's up to us to educate. But Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm quite optimistic about chiropractic in the next 20 years, definitely.
So, if you were the last chiropractor on the planet, would the profession survive?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd make sure.
yeah, listening to the enthusiasm that you have and the gift that you have to communicate chiropractic, I believe, as you see, we need to have a better connection with other, um, I guess, industry leaders in the health space and building relationships with them. So it's not us against them, but it's what is the best for the outcome of the patient. And
Yeah.
when they realize that they're working in a broken paradigm and that it's failing all around them, then they'll be more inclined to actually follow the Hippocratic Oath, which is to do no harm. And I believe that when they realize that doing no harm is least invasive first, and that an adjustment can change a life, and multiple adjustments can inspire a lifetime of good health. And I honestly believe that if more of them knew that chiropractors delivered the goods the way that they do, they'd have a hard time doing anything other than referring to chiropractors.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I think a lot of it has been some dogmatic approach to saying that the MDs are the, as you guys call them, general practitioners, like that they've had like an agenda against chiropractic. I don't think it's so true anymore. I think that probably more of them get adjusted than what they put off, and they take their kids in, and they take their families in, and they take their animals to chiropractors, and they want to be healthy too. So I bet if you ask them how many prescriptions they were on, that would be pretty. I don't know, but I'm sure they wouldn't be the first to line up to get on the pill mill themselves. So.
Definitely. I think as well, I think we just need to get rid of a few generations of medical practitioners, because I don't need to wish their lives away, but I think that they're stuck in a box in their mind in how they view things, whereas the younger generations are becoming a lot more aware of health, like the benefits of sleep, don't smoke, eat healthy, and I think that is really, really changing, which is why I think we have a really good stance with chiropractic in the next 20 years, because people are changing to that mindset. And I've seen quite a few GPs over the years, and even they say that they didn't even realize the extent of what the nervous system did, which is a little bit concerning in one respect. But we explain it in a very simple way, because chiropractic is simple, really. I think a lot of the time as well, we need to stop crossing boundaries with GPs in the fact that we aren't there to diagnose things, really. We're there to adjust a subluxation and get rid of it. And I think a lot of chiropractors will overcomplicate what they actually do, which will affect their philosophy and how they actually come across to their client or their patient, which can then come across uncertain. Like, I don't know if I'm a physiochiropractor, or if I'm if I'm here to diagnose, or am I here to do orthopedic tests? How many do I need to do? Whereas if you just, obviously cover yourself, but overall, all you're looking for is subluxations, and your job is to remove the interference and allow your brain and your body to connect. And then the body has an innate ability to heal itself. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there was anything that you could change about chiropractic, what would it be and why?
If I could change, a few things, it would be making sure that all the colleges and the learning is vitalistic. We get rid of mechanistic chiropractic completely. We move away from pain-based chiropractic. Obviously, it's a secondary issue, but ultimately, we don't really want people coming in saying, I've got neck pain, I've got back pain. They're coming in because they want their body to be healthy. And that is a secondary. That's what will go away anyway. I think with care schedules for clients or patients, they need to be higher volume, because some chiropractors who are seeing, and this is just my opinion, okay, but a lot of chiropractors that are seeing patients once a week or once every couple of weeks aren't serving them properly, because the nervous system needs high frequency of adjustments to start with. I think there's some research that Heidi Harvick's doing, or is coming out at the moment, which shows that it takes an adjustment 3 times a week for a 6-week period to even get the muscles to fire properly, which will stabilize the spine. So when there's research coming out showing that, and it's also what you see in practice and what you feel, and then a lot of the chiropractors are deviating away from the intensity of care to start with because of fear from being sued, or getting something called up by the GCC, which is our association, then they are doing disservice to our profession and to the person in front of them as well. So I think changing the frequency of care is going to be important, to coming away from pain-based chiropractic and then just enhancing the colleges. And instead of fighting them, we try and educate them and move towards them rather than away from them.
Brilliant stuff there, Dr. Lou. I really believe that the only way to get chiropractic back into the violistic model is to promote good-natured chiropractors that have a good philosophical standard to come into the education space. So it has to be bigger than running a successful office. We need chiropractors to jump back into leadership roles as presidents and VPs and the ambassadors of the schools and the recruiters and the people out there doing the work to build a better future for chiropractic. We need to go back to putting people with good level of principles and congruency into these roles, because what's happened is the profession's been infiltrated over time, and they've removed some of these people with high level integrity and congruency, and they put in lesser quality people into those roles. So if we really want to take the education back, we have to take people that are doing really successful practice and get them to start becoming educators as well, because that's where we take the power of the education back and the future of chiropractic back. And we do make it more vitalistic, and we do see the glaring concerns. But if we don't take action, then they'll continuously take the vitalistic schools and turn them mechanistic. And we've seen it happening time and time again. So it's great that we're all aware that this is a concern. But now we need to get organized and set a strategy to make that not a concern going forward and actually become a strength again. So I see what you're saying, and I absolutely understand that too. The chiropractic mindset has to shift from a crisis care, like, hey, we're your urgent care doctors, because that's what the medical agenda is to make chiropractors urgent care, where chiropractic is vitalistic care. Even though you can manage a case that somebody comes in with an urgent care scenario, obviously that's not the ideal scenario for the chiropractor, because it's high stress, it's high infirmary, it's high levels of triage. And why wouldn't you want to take care of somebody from cradle to grave and take care of them from womb to tomb and make sure that they get the proper care long term, rather than trying to be the urgent care of the medical model for a broken system as the referral source for something that, like you said, chiropractic is much greater than that.
Yeah, I think as well, some chiropractors that I know, that I studied with, and also just generally through the country, they're trying to take places of GPs in a way, in the fact that the lines are so blurred, and they seem to want to become medicalized, whereas actually stepping back away from that and saying, well, why would I want to be that? Because I'm a chiropractor, and they're very different things, will also help with the situation in terms of like a disagreement in chiropractic. Like, if you want to go and be a GP, then go to medical school.
Amen.
But if you want to be a chiropractor, you train as a chiropractor, and you don't want to be a GP, and that's why you went.
And don't sell out the principle.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, through this whole situation, chiropractors going and actually delivering vaccinations, it goes completely against your principles within what you do. I mean, that's bizarre to me. Absolutely bizarre.
That's
crazy.
And
if you go and do that, in my opinion, you go against your principles. You cannot preach anything to your clients.
You forfeited your license.
Exactly. Absolutely. Crazy.
So who have been some of your inspirations, or people that you look up to, some heroes who've helped shape who you are today?
Yeah, so So the first one, when I was growing up, my mum was very holistic. She was actually very vitalistic. She was a midwife, but very, very vitalistic in how she viewed the world. And my dad was actually in the pharmaceutical industry, believe it or not. I don't know how they made me exactly, but the dinner table conversations were quite interesting growing up. But thankfully, my mum was very holistic and vitalistic in her view. Unfortunately, she passed away when I was about 10 or 11. But I always took how she kind of spoke to me about the world and how your body is self-healing. And, instead of sticking a plaster on my knee, she'd actually just leave it and say, your body will heal. It doesn't need a plaster. So I took inspiration from her as a child growing up. But also I've got a lot of mentors I do look up to in the chiropractic world. So one is Tim Young. I think he is like an amazing chiropractor, but actually more importantly is he's so connected. Like if you meet him, he's so connected to you when he talks to you. And that in itself is a healing, you heal by energy as well within your body. So Tim is someone I look up to hugely. And then like D.D. Palmer, he's inspiring in the fact that he was so out there back in his era. So those are the three people I mainly look up to.
Well, we are just about at the edge of our time for today. So why don't we wrap up with you telling us your favorite miracle story that you've seen in your office?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a client, how long ago now? Maybe 6 months ago now. And she came into the office and she said to me, I have actually very little control over my bowel. I've got back pain and I've got numbness down my leg. Now, she'd been to see lots of people before and they said, okay, it's called equina. They MRI'd her, ruled it out completely. So I said to her, okay, well, it's been ruled out, so that's the job done. But what I'm interested in is your nervous system. And these nerves that come out of your lower back, your sacrum, and they go into your bowel. So can you see how it will have an effect? And she said, absolutely, it makes sense. I've got back pain, I've got bowel issues. And she was having to wear like an adult nappy. And she said it's debilitating, it's embarrassing. She had to hide it from her husband. She doesn't want to go out very often because of it. And anyway, within, I think it was 3 adjustments, no bowel issues whatsoever. She came in here and she cried. She was like, you have impacted my life so much. I don't think you even realize it. And she's still in care now. She's in maintenance care. She's just come in today and just said, can I actually just be seen once a week instead of once every 2 weeks? Because I've seen the power of chiropractic, so why would I not want my nervous system functioning at that level? So she's amazing. She's a fantastic lady, but she is probably my most recent amazing, change in her body.
That's great. So while we wrap up, why don't you give our listeners some places they can go if they want to learn more about you or your clinic? Like, what are some of your websites you could give us?
So our clinic is the one in Oxford. So it's called Results Align. So you can go to our website, which is www.resultsalign.co.uk. If you type in Results Align in Facebook or Instagram, it will also come up, Results Align Chiropractic. My personal Facebook, you can find me at Dr. Louise Edwards, Animal Chiropractor on Facebook, or Dr. Lou Edwards on Instagram. So that's where you can find me. And if anyone has any questions or needs any help or support in like philosophy or certainty, always ask. It's not a problem.
All right. Well, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't ask you?
I think that's everything. I think just the takeaway for anyone watching is just all you need to do is tell the truth. That's literally it.
Great advice. Well, Dr. Lou, thank you for being our guest today. This was a fun one. And we will make sure that all these links get put in your info. And this was a good interview.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time as well. Really appreciate it.
And whenever the world allows me to come visit the UK, I'll definitely stop by and see the flagship office there.
Obviously, come to Oxford. I'll show you around.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Take care,
Talk
guys.
soon. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.